Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome to the video that I'm going to tell you what in the heck happened to my blue Corvette. I'm sure that you've seen it missing from social media if you guys follow me. I haven't had any really new pictures of it that's not been in the driveway. If you watched the GT500 video that I talked about getting rid of it, I kind of told you that unfortunately that car, I wouldn't really say that it blew up because it didn't spin a rod bearing, throw out a rod or anything. It just kind of lost compression, and I'm not exactly sure why that happened. It's just a little over 100,000 miles on an LS2. That's usually kind of unheard of, but it did happen. It started getting a lot of blow-by, blew a lot of oil out of the exhaust to the point that, you know, it's kind of blinded my buddies that was driving behind me, and they was the ones that called me and was like, hey, your car's kind of smoking us out back here. I didn't see it because I wasn't paying attention and it was kind of nighttime. So anyway, like I said in that GT500 video, we actually pulled off on the side of the road. I really couldn't see anything like engine-wise at that point. It wasn't knocking, the oil pressure was still fine, but the entire rear bumper was covered in oil. So obviously something was going on, and I kept driving because, like I said, the car was driving fine, other than it felt like it was maybe down on a little bit of power, and it was smoking. So we stopped at Walmart. It's like 3 minutes away from the house. We had to drop off some other buddies that was heading in a different direction. I just happened to like smell oil real bad, like worse than before, and I popped the hood, and literally the daggone car shot the dipstick out of it. Completely ejected it and shot oil onto the hood. So I mean, I've never seen that happen with an LS car. Not sure if that was a fluke thing that happened, but obviously it put your boy in a state of concern. My buddy Brandon came over, did a compression test on the driver's side bank, and 3 of the 4 cylinders was about half the compression they should be. There was 1 good cylinder on that side, so there was no reason to even do the compression test on the other side because the engine had to come out at that point anyway. But I always said, since I wide bodied that car, did it custom color, did that car exactly how I envisioned that car when I first bought it. Other than the color, it was going to be orange, but then I seen Voodoo Blue and I was like, well, that's the color you boys got to have on this car. I always said I would put a 6.2 back in that car if the LS2 ever went south, and unfortunately it happened. So that's exactly what we did. So I was actually ordering a LS3 from Summit, and as you know, with the supply chain orders because of code and everything for the past like 2 or 3 years, I guess 2 full years, well 3 full years really, 2020, 2021, all of 2022 now, supply chain issues are just crap, and I couldn't get that engine for a little while. It was like $5,300 delivered, which is decent, I guess, for an LS3. Just a side note, they're unavailable until May of 23 now. So my buddy Kenny actually was like, hey man, this guy actually has a Escalade with the, I think it's an L92, sent at my shop, and he said he wanted to sell it. So I actually went and bought that off of him. I think I gave him $2 grand for it, I want to say, for the entire thing, and it run and drove, except the body was in kind of bad shape, good transmission and everything. So I went and actually paid Kenny, that I always talk about on the channel, he's a heck of a mechanic, pull the engine out of that for me because I was kind of crunched on time and I thought I was going to get this car done faster than what I was going to. Ended up selling the rest of the Escalade for like $1,400. So I had like $600 in that L92. So I actually pulled it completely apart and started looking at it. The cam bearings were kind of bad, a lot of copper showing. I went ahead and I actually built this engine, so it's going to ride or die on me, because I've never built an engine before. I've never put one together, but I went step by step, everything by the specs. So it has OEM rotating assembly. I did new rings, new rod bearings, new crank bearings, new cam bearings. We did a Blue Cat tuning custom spec cam. Not sure if you want to see that, but that is the cam that we're running. This is somewhere, I think, between like a BTR Stage 3 and BTR Stage 4, which kind of will put you in the area of the specs. Did upgraded valve springs and push rods, obviously. BTR V2 trunnion upgrade on the rockers. Did ARP bolts all the way through, rod bolts, main cap bolts. We did ARP head studs. So it's kind of overbuilt for what we're going to be doing, but I figured if I'm going to do it, I might as well have all the parts already in there that we're, you know, potentially going to be needing. So I did use the factory LS3 intake. I'm going to send this to my buddy and get it rod modded, because I always heard that a rod modded LS3 intake flows just as good as pretty much anything else. We do have to run a stock LS2 throttle body on it to keep the computer happy, which we will need a retune. I actually bought these hydro dipped blue carbon, what is it, fuel rail covers off my buddy Kevin on Facebook. He gave me a really good deal on these as well. I did paint the block, painted the heads just to kind of clean it up. It kind of looks bougie. I should have used like a matte aluminum paint instead of this like chrome paint. So it's really, really shiny. That is the engine that's going to go back in the car. And just a little bit of history on the car. If you haven't followed this build, this car started out as a bone stock 06 LS2 car base model that was that dark orange color. The body on it was kind of rough, and I decided I really wanted to wide body it. The OEM panels were outrageous. I actually linked up with Just Fast Online. They kind of gave me a really good deal on the ACI wide body. It did take a little bit of time to get in just because of the supply chain issues that was happening in 2020. Like I said, the car was going to go back orange until I went to AutoZone, which is, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's literally like right there, and the wind knocked down my fence, so I had to fix that. There was like a Voodoo Blue 4Runner, or is it a 4Runner? Yeah, I think it was a 4Runner over there, and I fell in love with the color. So of course, this was my first paint job. Painted it with a Harbor Freight air compressor and a Harbor Freight paint gun, and it came out pretty good. The car's been sitting and not been washed for a little bit, but it looks pretty good for my first time. So I did the ACI wide body. These are eBay side skirts that I painted gloss black. This is eBay front lip, Vetlight side markers, Morimoto from Vetlight, C7 style headlights, Morimoto fog lights. These are custom emblems from a fella on Instagram that I reached out to. Let's see, we got the C6.5 wing, Vetlight's rear marker lights, and Vetlight's, I think these are called the Onyx tail lights. That's kind of just the rundown on that car, but it does have long tooth X pipe, and I think these are SLP loudmouths, which are unbelievably loud. Right now, I do have the intake and throttle body off because I sold it. It had a fast 102 on it. The last video of this car, I think we did the Veraram install. That will be hopefully going back on it if it fits the LS3. That's kind of the state we're in right now. My buddy is supposed to be coming to get this car on his rollback. We're going to take it to his garage and swap the engine just because he has more room and higher ceilings. So it should make it theoretically a little bit easier to swap. So hopefully we can get old Bluecifer back going because I miss this car. I miss driving it even though it's wintertime. This is my favorite car I've ever owned, and I don't see myself loving a car more than I love this car. So my new seats should be here very soon. But I'm working with Safety Restore on some custom seat belts. They do a lot of rebuilds from wrecks and everything, and they can do like custom colors and everything. So we're gonna get royal blue seat belts put in this car as well, which should match the paint pretty well. So I guess that's kind of the overview of where Bluecifer is. Hopefully we can get it done and get it back going so we can start making some content, because 2023, we're gonna try to go hard as far as like the driving in the mountains, some togays. I'd like to do some autocross, probably do that more in the C5 as far as autocross goes. The LSA car is going to be our primary drag race car because it already does very well. And then the FRS is going to kind of be the daily driver type of deal. Random sequence in the vlog, I'm giving a bunch of stuff away out of the garage, and they finally came and picked some of it up. Anyway guys, that's kind of an update of where we are with Bluecifer, and hopefully we're doing a series on swapping the engine out here soon. Hope you like Bluecifer. If you want to follow the FRC, the FRS, the LSA car, which I'll go ahead and tell you, it's a V2 CTSV. You all figured it out already. It's probably been in the background of this video or the last one. That's what it is. It's a V2 CTSV, and I'll reveal it probably in the next video. So anyway, hit that big thumbs up button, get this video on the algorithm, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you guys on the next video.